Welcome back to the Vikings Film Room, brought to you by the Vikings Entertainment Network. Pete Bercich here, breaking down all of the Minnesota Vikings 2020 draft picks. And with that, we'll get to the third pick in round 2, number 58 overall, offensive tackle from Boise State, Ezra Cleveland.
With the 58th pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, the Minnesota Vikings select Ezra Cleveland, tackle, Boise State.
A lot to like about this young man. Reminds me a lot of Brian O'Neill. Here we have a guy in Ezra Cleveland, 6'6", 311 pounds, ran a 4.940 at the draft. Wowed all the scouts with his athleticism, and you're going to be able to see that on tape. He has great footwork, good athleticism. You're going to see him moving around. I think he's going to fit the style of offense that the Minnesota Vikings have very, very well. Now, I know this kid is tough. He was a high school wrestler. Coaches love linemen who used to wrestle because they understand the importance of leverage. It's a tough sport. They have to be able to tough their way through it. So that all being said, Ezra Cleveland is only a junior. So he left early to come out into the draft. So this kid has a ton of potential on the long run. I know the Vikings said they look forward to him contributing in this season in his rookie campaign. We knew the offensive line was a position that the Vikings wanted to address. So let's take a look at what Ezra Cleveland can do on film and see where he may fit in this Viking offense in the 2020 season. This first play, I think, really outlines exactly what he does well and then also what he needs a little bit of work on. He's going to step down and start the double team on the inside tackle. And now in this job, you don't want to turn your shoulders completely sideways like he is, but you want to push that interior defensive lineman across the face of the guard. So you see him getting his arms in there and then getting a good push. I think that is where he gets a lot of criticism with the strength on the strength side, because you'd like to see him meet him with his elbows inside and underneath and be able to get more leverage and push. But he does a great job of working up to the linebacker and then walling out that linebacker. So that one play right there, I think, personifies a lot of what Ezra does well and needs a little bit of work on. Now, a lot of these blocks, you're going to see an outside or a tight end outside Ezra. And in this case here, you see the great footwork as he works to that double team on the defensive end. And once he knows the tight end has him, that has his block, then he shuffles his way and folds his way all the way around to the next level and gets up on the defensive back. And he has the athletic ability and space to get out there and to block a defensive back. Now, with our offense and the wanting us to run screens and get some of our big guys in space, you see Riley Reef get down the field all the time. Ezra Cleveland is absolutely that kind of athletic player. This is, I think, an outstanding example of the footwork, as you don't know where the defensive line, he doesn't know where the defensive line are going to go in front of him, that they're going to be stunting. So he takes a controlled first step, and he's able to get head up on that linebacker and then turn and torque him inside. Now, granted, the guys in the NFL are going to be a lot bigger, and he may not just be able to turn and torque him. He's going to have to set and shuffle his feet and work his hips to the outside. But that initial footwork that gets him, he doesn't overreach, he doesn't overstep, he doesn't step underneath himself, shows how good of an athlete this kid is. Again, another example of a reach block, trying to get on the outside of a defensive end. In this case, the defensive end is really looping his way, but you see he gets head up on the defensive end and he's able to stay with him and push and continue to force that defensive lineman wider. So on initial contact, you'll see he has his shoulders square and the defensive lineman has his shoulders perpendicular to the line of scrimmage. So that's a winning situation. And he's able, again, to ride that guy all the way outside. Now, I would love to see him continue that block all the way off the field. But again, another example of how athletic this guy is and how he can get his body, that big 6'6", 311-pound frame, out to where it needs to go. Now, this run, I think, is a excellent example of his quickness and athleticism and his ability to get to the second level. In this case, they're running a trap where they want to trap the defensive 3 technique on the inside. So he lets him cross his face, steps underneath, and is able to get up to the second level and then wall that guy inside, allowing that back to pop right through. So quickness, the ability to get across the face of a defensive lineman that quickly and then get to the second level. And then when you get there, be able to push that defensive linebacker or safety inside is a huge play. So on this final example, again, lining up at the left tackle, has a tight end outside. The defensive linemen are moving around. I think they move around to their discredit on this play, getting too many guys out of the way. But you'll see he and the guard step up to that next level and then wall inside the linebacker, allowing the back to get through. So I think overall, Ezra Cleveland is a very, very athletic, has a lot of size. He's going to need to work a little bit like Brian O'Neill, I think, to get some strength, to get some leverage. His ability to pass block, has been well documented. He's very athletic. The question is he going to be able to hold up against some of the bull rushes and some of the power rushes? Can he, quote unquote, drop the anchor so he can get underneath some of these defensive linemen? But a very, very good pick. You can make a guy bigger, you can make a guy stronger, but you can't make a guy faster.